Hi everyone, I'm trading the E-mini S&P 500 futures and also the E-mini NASDAQ. So on the NQ here, I'm using a 1000 tick chart and a 21 EMA, and on the ES, I'm using a 2000 tick chart and a 21 EMA. So starting off, this is our overnight low, this is our overnight high up here. Now, we opened right here, and then right after the market opened, we reconfirmed that level, so this is very clearly our overnight low. Now, when we push up here, notice that this downtrend has a break and a new low, and so then price is starting to reverse off the overnight low. Now, we can expect a reversal pattern here because, again, coming off the overnight low, this is a common reversal area. But in this case here, we just don't get a clear pattern. It'd be good to see a push up and then two clear legs back, making a failed second entry, pushing back above the EMA, but it just doesn't happen here. So this downtrend, like I said, it's played out with a break to a new low, but it is still one leg on a bigger picture. And so if we get a push up, two clear legs down, two good legs down, then that would be the two attempts lower for this downtrend right here. So the downtrend would have confluence is the point if we had gotten a full reversal pattern, but it just doesn't happen here. So we push on up here, after we have this little break to new high with this uptrend right here, we just have a first entry there, another first entry. Just first entries on the way up, doesn't even reach the EMA right there, so really no way to get on this move up, at least in the way that I trade. So anyway, we push on up here, we break out of the overnight high. Now when you break out of an overnight level or a range level, you can expect price to attempt to fade. And so you don't want to just buy the breakout because you're getting bullish bars pushing out. You don't just want to buy above this bar right here. You want to wait on two attempts to fade, so that way you can enter on the fade failure. And so that is to buy the breakout. In order to buy a breakout, you need to see two attempts to fade. And so we don't get that till up here. We start pushing on lower. We get this first attempt to fade. And, we have this uptrend going right here. At first, of course, it's like this, and then it overshot. But these highs did actually fit pretty well. So you can look to extend it. And so anyway, we push it down right here. We break, but, we basically hold. It's just a tiny break. We start pushing up. So it's like uptrend, break, and then first attempt at a new high, and then second attempt at a new high. Now, this is a small picture break, so as you push out more, it is possible for price to make a bigger picture new high. Like from here, it attempted to, but it just couldn't do it. At that measured move, it started pushing higher, price trying to make a new high on a bigger picture, but it just didn't happen. The overnight level won out because this acts as a magnet. Price is attracted back to it, and it won out over this uptrend right here. And so anyway, back to this part right here. So with this little break in the first push up to a new high, there's really no clear entries on it. If you get two clear attempts at a new high, you can look to get in on the failure, but it just doesn't set up perfectly here. From the high side here, you could say that you have a failed second entry, and technically you do. From here, you have first entry long, second entry long, failure. And some people might be wondering why I'm skipping over this little swing right here when I did that first entry long, second entry long. And it's because this is a bigger picture swing. Even though you have this little push down right here, clearly you have a bigger picture pattern of just one leg down here, one leg up, one leg down, and then one leg back up. So that's the failed second entry. It just doesn't set up perfectly. It's very thin with this channel. It's barely broken out. We still have the two attempts, but let me get an arrow really quick. This first attempt is much bigger than this second attempt. With the wick, it's actually pretty close, but the bodies are more important. This second leg up is not as significant as this first leg up. Even though it has a triple test right there, it's just too thin with this uptrend. It could end up just ticking lower, pushing on up, and then reaching that measured move right there. So really, it's just not the best. It's just not the best entry to enter all the way down here. Let me put this back on. You have this right here. Now, clearly, it's not holding very well. You have that high right there, just one swing right there. You break out, and then you're already pushing back out right here. But it's still just not the best entry to enter on. I would want to see a much clearer break with a couple attempts at a new high. So it's just not quite clear enough here. Now, I'm going to go over to the NQ really quick, because on the NQ, in this same area, because the NQ and the ES, they'll follow each other. They're not completely going to follow each other, but they'll loosely follow each other. As we push up here, we got that same small little break right there, and then we got that first push up. But then we didn't hang around here as long. We just pushed back down. We have these two legs down right here. Then when we push back up, this measured move is still in play. And so we have this failed second entry, We have uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, and that's confluent with this failed second entry right here with the measured move in play. Again, at a common reversal area. We broke out of the overnight high. We can expect price to attempt to fade back down. So it just set up much better right here. Now notice that, it kind of just chopped around for a bit, and then after we got that second leg down on the ES here, it met the measured move immediately. So we weren't able to get a good short in the same spot on the ES because we already have the measured move met at this point. And so then price is attempting to reverse, pushing back above the EMA. That's indicative of, price going bullish. Even though it ends up turning down right there, at this point, you don't know it's going to do that. You don't know it's going to turn down right there. The uptrend is still expecting a new high. You just met a measured move. You're pushing above the EMA. It's just not a good place to go short. And so right here on the NQ, again, measured move still in play, bearish reaction. It's following along with this trend right here. Not perfectly, because like at first, it has a little tiny break, but it's still clearly holding, it's pushing back below the EMA. And so it just set up better on the NQ. And, some people, what they might like to do is, since it looks good on the NQ, they'll enter on the ES, but I don't think that's a good idea because there's times when the markets will diverge from each other. Sometimes they'll follow each other, sometimes they'll just be diverging from each other. And so, I've seen spike ups on one while it's spiking down on the other. So just because it's a good setup on, this market doesn't mean you want to take it on the ES just because they kind of follow each other. And so anyway, nothing here. We push on lower. We go into this downtrend. And now with this downtrend, we get a small break and a push to a new low. So this downtrend is considered to be played out. But on a bigger picture, you can tell this is still one leg. And so as price attempts to reverse, because again, with the break to new low, it's, you can expect price to attempt to reverse. This is the attempt to reverse, but it can't reverse. It just makes two bigger picture legs. So this is a bigger picture break, a two-legged break. And so we can still expect a new low for this downtrend. So now this is our downtrend. Rather than downtrend, break, new low, now it's downtrend, the whole thing, and then two-legged break, and then this is our push to a new low, our first attempt lower, and then our second attempt lower right there. So I can draw out this arrow right here. Notice that we got a near perfect reversal off that measured move. It's not quite perfect, it's not to the tick or anything, but that's pretty close, especially considering the size of it. So it's very important to understand these measured moves. It's important to understand how trends play out and how trends get bigger picture. Because again, I'll go over it again. With this downtrend, we have a small break right there and a push to a new low. And then just like normal, price is attempting to reverse. But what that reversal forms is the bigger picture break for the overall downtrend here. So I hope that's clear. Now here I like this. Right at this measured move is where price starts pushing back down. This up measured move, price has a good push down into it. And so I like it, but unfortunately I missed this on the NQ. There was a trade right in the same area here, which I'll hop over to that really quick. So back to the NQ here. Notice that we have this, the downtrend has a break, met that measured move, immediately starts pushing down after it closed below the EMA, and it's just clearly pushing on lower here, attempting to make a new low. It looks good with a limit order. Obviously you don't want to enter all the way down below this bar because then you'd be pushing it so far out of this range. But with a limit order, you can get in, and it kind of pulled back a little more than I'd like. Obviously when you enter with a limit order, as soon as it fills your limit order, you want it to stop backing up, but it, just kept backing up a little bit, and you kind of just got to get used to this. Don't exit. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but, people will exit early just because it's pulling back further than they'd like on their limit order. But that's just part of it, it was trying to make a triple top right there, but we had this downtrend expecting a new low with us. That was, that's what we're trading based on. And so we were with the bearish momentum. And so that's why I like this trade right here. So sometimes it's going to back up a little further than you like, but you just got to sit through it. It's just part of the trading. And so anyway, and I do want to mention, even though this is a little bit choppy right here, if you had missed this initial entry and say you don't want to enter here and put your stop all the way up there, this does look like a decent entry right here. I didn't add on to it, I just let it play out. But you can see you have first entry long, second entry long, failure. So this is a little failed second entry right here. You know, right after this push down right here, expecting the new low. I think that looks good right there. But again, I didn't add on. I just let it play out with because I was already in that trade. And so anyway, we push on lower here. Now we break out of the overnight low. This downtrend has a, oh wait, I just realized I'm still on the NQ. I kind of was doing the ES and just hopped over for a sec. I'm going to go back to the ES. Sorry about that. So, you know, we continue on lower here. Again, I missed that trade right here on the ES. We push on lower here, and then we reach the overnight low. This downtrend has played out with a break to a new low. So when we reach the overnight low, this is a very common reversal area. We can expect price to attempt to reverse. But it ends up pushing on through here. Now, when we push it out, you know, it's very common for price to fade back in. You can expect price to fade back in. And so when we start pushing up here, again, similarly to if we had just bounced here, we can just get a reversal pattern. That's the best, most ideal trade to get on a fade of the overnight. And so if we had just pushed out of this channel and got a couple legs back, make a big picture failed second entry, we could have gotten a long. But it ends up pushing on lower here and again reaches that measured move. So these measured move levels are very important. You know, the bears, you know, as we push lower here and break out, the bulls want to fade back in, but the bears want to reach this measured move down here. And so, you know, if we had pushed up in here and then gotten 2 attempts down on you know, making a reversal pattern, that would basically be the bears attempting 2 last times to reach this measured move. And so, you know, in that case, then we would go with the longs. But in this case here, the bears ended up winning. So if we push lower here, right after that fade attempt and get a couple legs back, retesting the overnight high, or excuse me, the overnight low, then we can get a short on the way down here. It just doesn't set up like that. So it just pushes on down there without us. And so anyway, we push on up here, right at that measured move. It gets very choppy. We're retesting the overnight low right now. Pretty good reaction. This this uptrend right here is looking like it's going to get a break. The ticks are about to close, so, you know, looks like you get a break right here, and then we can expect price to attempt a new high, but you have to consider this downtrend. So if you get, say, a break on an uptrend within this downtrend and get 2 attempts at a new high, then the uptrend will have its 2 attempts, so you can look to get in on the failure at new high to continue with the overall downtrend. So, you know, just one thing to consider, because this measured move is met, and so that's a common reversal area. So the measured move being met is going to lead to a lot of longs wanting to reverse, but this downtrend is, you know, the bears are going to want to continue the downtrend. So it's a battle between basically this measured move, the bulls pushing off of it, and the bears holding on this right here. And so if we get a couple attempts at a new high, this uptrend will be played out, and then it'll be much safer to get along with this downtrend. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm going to hop over to the NQ now. So sorry, I kind of got mixed up there for a second earlier. So anyway, on the NQ, let me just go over to the front. This downtrend has a break and a new low at the overnight low right here. Clearly that's our level. We fade back in, no clear entries on the way up. We got this higher low, but I wanted to see a failed second entry, you know, a clear reversal pattern. So I just didn't like this here. You know, I like higher lows if they have really good momentum, but this just, you know, this is just a fade of the overnight. It's not like you have insane bullish momentum or anything. So we push on up here, and then, you know, it just rockets off like crazy. And so we take off, we push out of the overnight high right there, and then again, when you break out of the overnight high, you want to see 2 attempts to fade before you buy with the breakout. We just push on up here, you know, similarly to on the ES, you know, we have this thinner channel, but that overshoot, you know, holds decently, so we can extend the line to it. And then here we get that small break, and then I kind of explained this part already, but we get this failed second entry, and we have this measured move still in play. Bearish reaction, holding below the EMA. This is a great looking short right here. You know, from the high count, we have first entry long, second entry long, failure. Uptrend has a little break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, and then failure. So great looking entry right here. Push on lower here. Now this part right here, notice that we get a retest of the previous level. So this is pretty common. When you push through a level, a measured move level, sometimes it's not going to react right on it. Sometimes it'll push straight through and then pull back. And basically, if you have a measured move level and price doesn't hold off of it and just pushes through, and then you get a retest on the other side, that's a great place to look to continue lower. So In this case here, it didn't set up perfectly. It's pretty choppy sideways and also right into that low of this channel that was just overshot. And so it's just not a perfect place to enter. But, it's very common to get good two-legged retests of previous measured move levels, and you can look to get short on them, if it's a down measured move. And so, just important to understand that. So anyway, we continue on down here. This swing, we can drag this trend line right here, and we can draw this channel. And so we go down here. We have this thinner channel forming within this wider channel, and we just don't get anything. We fade back in. Now, when we fade back in, a great thing to see would be 2 legs back, retesting the overnight high in order to get a short. Because when you get a fade, obviously that's a bearish fade. So if you get 2 legs back off of a key level, that'd be a great place to get a short. But in this case here, and it ends up just making this little first entry and then just plummets. And then you can kind of see a second entry in there. You have that first push up, little push down, and then a second leg up. But really, this is just one choppy leg up. Doesn't even reach the EMA. I'm not going to look at this and say, oh, there's a tick lower right there. I'm going to take that because it's a second entry. And someone's going to ask about this right here. Say it's a third entry. I'm looking more at the bodies right here. We have a push up with the green bodies, pull back, and then a second leg up. But yeah, it's still not good or anything. And also, it was right after overshooting again. We overshot a tiny bit right there, and then again right there. So you really want to see 2 clear legs up to the other side of the channel before continuing short, before taking a short. And so anyway, we push on lower again here, and then we get these 2 legs up separated by this chop right here. So first leg gets choppy. We have a second leg up here, and that second push up leads to the break. Now again, price action gets bigger picture over time. So with those 2 legs up right there, it's really 1 leg up on a bigger picture. We get a break and then a second leg up right there. And I do want to mention right here, notice how this wick did actually go lower than that swing. On a bigger picture, the bodies are really more important than the wicks. Clearly, you still have a 2-legged move up there. I'm not going to discount it just because it has a little tick lower right there. Clearly, you have a 2-legged break right here from this downtrend. We can still expect price to attempt a new low. And then we push on lower here, limit order. I think I already explained this one when I got sidetracked earlier. But we push on lower here, very bearish reaction, limit order. It pulled back a little more than I wanted to, but that's just part of trading. Sometimes that's going to happen to you. We push on lower here, and so this was a great looking trade. Right at this measured move, price had 2 pushes off, and that second push off really took off from there. And so overall, what was forming was downtrend. We have a 2-legged break and then 2 clear legs at a new low. And so I'll draw off the measured move here. Now on the ES, I'm going to hop back to the ES for 1 second here. We had these 2 major legs down with a perfect measured move right there. Here we have downtrend break, 2 clear legs at a new low. But again, these 2 legs on a bigger picture is just 1 leg. And so you have this even bigger picture 2-legged move right here, which of course we don't reach the measured move on the NQ here. But here I'm going to remove this just to unclutter a bit. But you can still see we have 2 legs down overall from the high of the day, 2 big legs down, and on an even bigger picture, it's still 1 leg. So price action never stops getting bigger picture. It's, basically, like price action, whenever you go up a time frame, it's the same. Price action works on all time frames. Sometimes people will get carried away with opening up a bunch of bigger picture charts. You really don't need to do that. It's not bad to look at a bigger picture chart. Like if you trade the ES on a 2,000 tick chart, a good one is the 7,000 tick chart. Just if you want to get used to looking at bigger picture stuff, you can pull up a 7,000 chart, and that can help you out a little bit. But ultimately, you want to be able to do it without needing that. Like I just look at here on the NQ, I just look at the 1,000 tick chart alone. On the ES, I look at the 2,000 tick chart alone. And I don't look at higher time frame charts. But when I was learning this, I did use those to learn bigger picture stuff. So I will say, you can pull up a bigger time frame chart, to see it on the smaller picture charts over time. So anyway, like for instance, on a 7,000 tick chart, this is going to look more like a regular failed second entry from here. But because it can be hard to see this, but starting from here, this is a failed second entry. You have first entry long, second entry long, failure. So, just important to notice stuff like that. So anyway, we push up here, we hold off this low right here. Again, we didn't reach that measured move. We have this push up, break, second push up, measured move is met. Now, if price holds right here, we can absolutely look to continue short because we have 2 attempts to reach the other side after coming off this low. When you come off one side of a channel, you want to see 2 attempts to reach the other side before entering along with it. Just like with the overnight breakouts, you want to see 2 attempts to fade. Second entries happen all over the chart. Market moves in pairs of 2. That's literally just how it works. And so you want to wait for 2 attempts. It's all about human psychology, and that's why these patterns repeat over and over and over again. And so, anyway. But it doesn't end up holding here. If we push lower here, we can get a little failed second entry pushing off of it, continue with this downtrend here. But it just doesn't set anything up. We just continue on higher. We retest the overnight low right here and also push off of that channel right there. We still don't get a good entry. We could look like right now we're forming technically a failed second entry. Obviously this entry right here is not good. I would want to see 2 clear legs back, not a push down, 1 clear leg back, and then a tiny push up right there. I'd want to see something like this. Push down. Oh, whoops, what did I just do there? There we go. And 2 clear legs up. So first entry long, second entry long, failure, and look to continue lower. And so, because you have to consider this uptrend right here. You have a little break, and then, with this price action right here, you have first attempt higher and then second attempt higher. That's not very significant for this uptrend right here. What you could get is, if you got what I have drawn out here, you have break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, failure. And so you would have confluence with the failed second entry, also with this uptrend right here. So the uptrend would be played out, and it's just not setting up perfectly right now. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I hope it helped out, and thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.